Rage.
Rage Jerky. Biscuits are on my mind, man. Biscuits are on my mind.
Biscuits.
You look like a 20-year-old woman who's about to go to the farmer's market in that hat.
For real?
I was at staff meeting yesterday, and I found out I declared myself as Swiftie adjacent.
I did not take my shirt off, and this is why.
Here we go. Hey, hold my beer.
Back in April, we were live from Kansas City. And Bo, one of the owners of what we know to have been used to, their name used to be Primal Jerky, was on there live with us. And he made it public that day, April, whatever night it was, live from Kansas City. He told us that he was changing the name of Primal Beef Jerky to Rage Beef Jerky.
We got an official
that was back
statement.
In April. Yeah, that was the official statement. Only because they couldn't, I guess, copyright the name Primal Jerky, which is all fun, especially
specifically in the meat stick area, struggling to get the name Primal. So they have since switched. Go for it, Bobby.
I do want to assure you before you get to jump to any conclusion, it is the same owners, same recipe, same texture, same quality. They're still consistent across the board. But Rage Beef Jerky is the new name of what we all used to know as Primal Beef Jerky. Just a new look, different name. Or, yeah, just a little bit of a new logo, right? Is that a new logo, or did they just change where that A is at, right?
So the A that used to be in Primal is now the A in Rage.
Yeah. So it's just like
still
this.
Still got the arrowhead.
Same has the arrowhead right there.
Same
and
font.
Has the claws. Same font.
I think it's the same font.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just RAGE.
And the arrowhead is in that A part of the Rage. But it is now Rage Jerky. They are the
You should throw up the logo in post. You should throw up the logo in post.
I've already got it made and everything.
Oh,
I've already got all that done. But means I do want to... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, but they are still a sponsor of the Chubby Buddies podcast. And if you are not in the 400 plus locations they are sold, or 5 states, which is Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, they've given us to give to you, our listeners and supporters, the chance to go to www.ragebeefjerky.com. No longer feedonprimal.com, but you can still go to that website and it'll take you right to their new website, which is ragebeefjerky.com. So and all you have to do is... Oh, go ahead.
Just to clarify, for the time being, you did say Feed on Primal will direct to the new website.
Yeah, I tried it today.
So, for the time being, Feed on Primal will. But that new website, again, to be clear, just so that we know how it is. Learning new stuff's weird. So you want to hear it multiple times. So hit them with that website one more time, Bobby.
www.ragebeefjerky.com. That's RAGE. If you don't know how to spell beef jerky, then you're not a fan of meat. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. If I have to spell that out for you, we got problems. But all you have to do is at checkout, after you filled your cart up with your favorite flavors or a flavor that you haven't tried, at checkout, use promo code Chubby, that's CHUBBY, for 15% off your order. And if you meet the $50 cap and you use that 15% off discount code of Chubby, CHUBBY, you will get the equivalent of a bag or more free at checkout. Rage
Jerky. Now, why did I get the beef sticks? Because the most exciting thing about them getting the name officially changed to Rage means that these beautiful things are coming to market. So
close. Did you see that comment?
I have not seen the comment. We got a comment?
Well, no, I made a post on the one that I shared. I
Oh,
made a
tell me.
comment on there under my name, and I said, "Does this mean ... meat sticks?" Question mark with your name tag to it, and then they said, "Very soon."
Oh, you
So
heard it. Very soon, y'all. Very soon, these bad
the
boys are coming to
changes are
market. Let
great.
me tell
These
you.
changes are great, especially if you like meat sticks.
It's not a flavor thing, I guarantee you. It was a name thing and probably a little bit of a marketing workup stuff they got to do on that front end. But let me tell you guys, when you get your hands on these meat sticks, you are going to love them. They are so good.
I know that I had a busy week. I don't know how busy your week was. I know that you're a busy individual anyways, but I had the pleasure of doing a lot of things. So I'm going to ask you first, how was your week?
Busy enough. I mean, not insanely busy. We came back from vacation, so most of this week was kind of just getting caught back up, getting everything ready to go. We've got youth group tomorrow. Got small group on Thursday. Might have a conference this weekend. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of middle schoolers on if they're going to sign up. If they don't, I'm not going to be able to. I won't do the conference because I don't have enough students signed up. It's weird. This year I've got so many middle schoolers in sports, which is kind of unique. I don't usually have this many middle schoolers engaged in stuff, but I've got football players, I've got dancers, got all sorts of kids doing stuff. So, but yeah, it's been beyond that. I also have been cooking a bunch because biscuits are on my mind, man. Biscuits are on my mind.
Biscuits.
Yeah, dude. I came up with this idea and I'm running with it because it's so good. Biscuit bombs. Okay? Are you ready for this?
Oh,
Biscuit bombs. I know. And we've talked a little bit,
hot
so
take.
we're not gonna pretend here. But definitely this
No.
is big news because I haven't talked about this publicly, except with those close. So the fact that I'm revealing this on the show is a hot take. I created a new food. So let me get this out there in case I ever have to trademark this thing. Let me make it clear now. I have
What's
made
today's date?
Today's date is Tuesday, September 26th. Oh, Mom's birthday's in 2 days. We got to remember to tell her happy birthday. But so I have made, I'm ready to admit this. I have officially made history. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've made what I think might be the greatest food invention since sliced bread. It's going to transform the way we eat comfort food. And it's called the biscuit bomb. It's called the biscuit bomb. So imagine, if you will, a nice, fluffy buttermilk biscuit. Not small, but we're talking like 2.5 inches around. A big sucker. Okay? Now imagine that biscuit has been cored out. Like the inside has been taken out. You still got the shell of the biscuit, right? But then inside of that biscuit, we have injected sausage and gravy into the biscuit. So now you have a portable, handheld biscuits and gravy. And every bite you take is like eating a bread bowl of biscuits and gravy in your hand. But it's not a bread bowl, it's a biscuit bowl, or rather a biscuit bomb. And this expands to all sorts of ideas. I'm going to make bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit bombs. I'm going to make all sorts of stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Have you tried a chili cheese bomb?
A chili cheese bomb? I have not tried a chili cheese bomb. That would be good. That would be very good.
Like a walking, what do they call it?
Like a walking
not
chili
walking
bowl.
nacho.
Walking
walking
taco,
chili
but
bowl.
but chili.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And a biscuit. Ooh.
I could very much so see that.
Flavor.
I've also done, because I've been practicing with this for a while. I've also made a buffalo chicken and white mozzarella cheese sauce filling that you can inject into those biscuits. This is the new way to eat comfort food. Let me tell you.
What about desserts?
Desserts, I've got you covered there too, right? So check it. And this is the simplest thing. Fruit. Simple fruit, pie filling kind of thing. Blueberries, strawberries, basic fruit, stuff it in the biscuit. Then you make just a very small glaze, powdered sugar, butter, and a little bit of vanilla. And that drizzles right on top. And you've got the best dessert ever. So good.
Ooh, you know what's got me like thinking right now?
I'm
Think
listening.
about this, right? You know how I brought up, I don't know if you were into this. Now, I mean, I could take it or leave it. Like the whole cinnamon roll and chili, right? What if you had a
Okay.
cinnamon roll outside of that biscuit? Like it was cinnamon, like butter based on the
Okay.
outside of
I
that
hear
biscuit
you.
with the
I hear
inside
you.
of it.
I could get down with that because that is a very Midwestern thing. And that is part of what I'm wanting to do with this is really capture the Midwest comfort flavor. What if there was like a cinnamon sugar glaze on the outside of that
Chili
biscuit,
bomb.
that chili bomb biscuit, or maybe even a cinnamon sugar glaze that you dip it in? Because that's one of the things that I was thinking about was how many people eat biscuits and have like hot sauce or things like that on their breakfast sandwiches. So serving like hot sauce. Oh, bro, I'm ready. This thing is going to be so good.
Oh man,
Biscuit
there's
bombs are
thoughts
where it's
running through
at.
my head.
So be thinking about it. If any of y'all have got great ideas, send them my way because I am trying everything I can because this is awesome. I love it.
What about a
I
rage
love
bomb
a rage bomb. Stuff it with jerky, bro.
or meat sticks?
Oh, oh. I wouldn't know what to pair that with. That'd be
Well,
so
you don't
hard
want
to
to
pair
do a
anything.
sauce. You don't want to do a sauce.
That's my point. But I feel like you'd have to have something else
Mm.
with it.
Well, the only thing that I've ever like eaten like a meat stick with would be like maybe hot sauce, and that would be it.
Right.
I don't know, like you'd kind of want like some sort of like, well, I guess you could chop them up into like teeny, ooh, mac and cheese
Oh.
with a little bit of that rage meat stick on there.
Ooh.
Cause some meat splits going on.
Okay. I hear you.
I mean, that's definitely a fat guy thinking about too much other than his weight. I'm just saying. So nothing else
Ooh.
with maybe outside of the job with you and Heather, or
No, we went on vacation. We're back now. Spent a little time with the kids. Gosh, it's really just been kind of getting back into the groove of things. The school year started back up, so everything's kind of rolling.
well, I mean, I don't hate busy weeks at all by any means, but I do hate like filling out of routine, and that's where I fall like backwards on is like if I am doing something, then I've got to put other things off.
Sure.
Friday, okay, I took the day off. I had a great time. I got to see Bert Kreischer live in performance, okay? Shout out Heather. She's the one that took me. She purchased these tickets back in, I think it was around Mother's Day, is when they went live to buy, and her husband had plans on going. He couldn't go. He's in the military. He had to do some school stuff with his military background. I got to step in and save the day. He's one of my favorite comics. Is he the best comic? No, I will never say that. I will never say Bert Kreischer is the best comic, but
No,
he
but
is.
his comedy
Oh, go ahead.
style is right up your alley, dude. Like he's got to be one of your favorites.
Well, this is, and I'll get to that. Like, okay, when I went there, right? Great show. Okay, he had great openers. Now, I don't know if you've heard of these guys. One of them I do know of. His name is Chris Porter. I do remember him being on Last Comic Standing. That's the only reason why I know him. But the other guy that he had, his name was Shane Torres, and he was hilarious, right? And I think a comic benefits from opening acts coming in and like, I guess, really kind of, I don't know, wetting the whistle is
Yeah,
pretty
they
much what
warm the
everybody's
crowd
doing. Like,
up for sure.
yeah, not only that, but they really feed into. If I was a comic, I would want comics who kind of feed off of my energy, and these two, they they built up the energy, and like before anybody came out, they had this thing called the Burt Cam. I did not take my shirt off, and this is why. I didn't take it off because I chose to wear a Dixon flannel, and they were very expensive. I did not want to
Ah.
lose this thing. But two, I also was reading that somebody at one of the Wichita comedy shows had gotten escorted out for stripping during one of the shows. So I was like,
Oh,
I'm
snap.
not about to lose out on that. So I didn't know this Burt Cam was actually going to be a thing. But once it all got going, he had his two openers. Like I said, Shane Torres came out first, and then uh, Chris Porter came out, who I said was I think he placed pretty high in the last comic standing too. But this is what I want to give Burt Kreischer credit for. He is twice the comic live than he is recorded.
Yeah.
And why I say that is this is where I see that he is up my alley in comedy. I love a good story, okay? And to watch Burt Kreischer build up to that story with whatever it is. Yes, you heard some stuff in this show that you've heard before, and I follow his podcasts pretty regularly, so I've heard some of this stuff. But the way that he is able to build off of things and see, it's like watching a guy like you're a big math guy. Like you can do math at the top of your head. It's him doing math, but with a story. And that's where I give credit to like people like Bill Cosby. Granted, he's nobody's favorite anymore, but he is and you can't argue with me about this. He's the best storyteller I've ever heard up until now, and that's Burt Kreischer. Burt Kreischer blows it out of the water with his stories because he leaves you wanting more with every single thing that he's talking about. And when he hits you with the funny quirks, it's not telling jokes with him; it's stories, and that's what he's known for, and that is what he. I think that he could be the bread and butter for storytelling. And nothing has proved otherwise. He's a great storyteller on his podcast. Live, he's great. But live, where he's different than he is recording, it is so much 100% like a one-on-one conversation like what we're having here. And that's what it felt like the entire time. And I was so close. Did you see the pictures I posted?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I was right in the middle of the stage, and I was,
Are
I
they
think,
on
the
Facebook?
8th row back. Yeah, I posted a video and a
look.
picture, a few pictures. I wish I could get the sorry. I wish I could get the
Check
video.
Dang, you were close.
And he's sober, and
Nice
that's another
hat.
thing. Like he's known for drink. Like I wore the hat that I got off Temu, but he's known for being the party guy. And
you look like a 20-year-old woman who's about to go to the farmer's market in that hat.
For real, I thought you said that I looked like it was very Burt Kreischer of me.
It is, but the hat also looks like a 20-year-old woman who's going to.
I mean,
the
just
market.
how close I got
great.
was just phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
Granted, that's zoomed in a little bit, but just the atmosphere of him telling stories is really what did it for me, because it just felt like it was like a one-on-one conversation, and it's so much better. And then on top of that, like, not many people like enjoy comedy as much as I do. I enjoy comedy, and I've never been in that type of I guess atmosphere with people at a comedy show. It's always been more smaller and more, I guess, romantic is how comics call it. And that's how I've always known it to be. And they closed the Looney Bin in Wichita, so you're not going to get anything like that anymore in that area. So I loved it.
Oh man,
Absolutely loved it.
That breaks my heart for you, dude. I've been able to go up to the Blue Room in Springfield a couple of times for comedy shows, and it's a blast.
So do you prefer a big, huge arena comedy, or do you prefer the small, low-lit, romantic?
No. Small. Give me the romantic. Blue Room's small. It's a 50 to 100 people. They just upgraded, so they could probably do 150 now. But at the time where they were meeting, when my buddy Justin, who's been touring with Nate Bargatze. Yep. But my buddy Justin, I've seen him twice in the Blue Room, and man, that was a tiny little, 50-person room. But there's just something about that experience, about being in there, seeing young comics on the grind, and just seeing them like keep going. That's one of the things I love about Justin's story is he has been grinding at this for 10 plus years, and like he's never quit. He's had some times where it's taken it out of him, but the dude's still grinding away at it. And he's good. Like good comedy, like takes years to develop. A truly great comic has been working their art form for years, and you're only noticing them now because they're finally so good at what they do that they literally rise to the top.
Right, and that's where I think Bert Kreischer, like, he benefits more from that arena type setting because he's telling stories and it's not really like joke or punchline type. Yeah, there's some punchlines in the stories that he's telling, but I think that that's what benefits him is that him being a storyteller, there's so much interaction with his stories that like you kind of want that 10,000 person room, and that's where I think that like his type of comedy fits in perfectly with arena type atmospheres. Not everybody's comedy is meant for arenas, in my opinion. So like people who aren't the like Seinfeld, I would rather see a Seinfeld type person in a smaller room versus Bert Kreischer. I would want to see. I mean, I could probably take Bert Kreischer in any type of atmosphere, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
He's loud. He's boisterous. I mean, he's definitely who he portrays on YouTube or anything that you've ever seen him in. That is who he is. Like that's 100% who he is, and you can't change that. And shout out Bert Kreischer. That's all I can say. You put on one hell
How
of a
do
show.
you compare it? How do you compare it to like Robin Williams stand up? Because I know you used to have we used to watch Robin Williams stand up together. I know you have a particular love for his style of stand up.
Robin Williams, I would say, is another one of those storytellers, but he's not necessarily like trying to lead you down this path of this surprise ending. He's
No,
telling you a
yeah, it's
story of
usually
something that might have
dramatic.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
and it's a
he's
dramatic
giving us a
telling.
history lesson, and he's giving it from his perspective, which is a good thing. So I think he's another one of those arena type, I guess, uh, boisterous type peoples. But like, I think you could also take him in a small setting. I think he would do
Sure,
just as good in a small setting as he would in a big set.
fair
Now
enough.
today, like not everybody give Robin Williams credit for what he did because they thought that he was more of a better actor than he was a comedian. I think he did great in both. I mean, that's just me. I also enjoy the humor of being able to not just make fun of yourself, but also make fun of everybody else, just like what Bert Kreischer does, just like what Robin Williams did. Uh, another Richard Pryor did it. I'm not a big Richard Pryor fan, but I respect the fact that he can build comedy and laughter off of making fun of himself and stuff that he's been through.
Yeah,
But
self-deprecating humor is always a good humor
oh yeah,
because
and
if
if
we
you can make
can't
fun of
learn to
yourself,
laugh at
you have
ourselves,
fixed.
yep,
Yeah, then what's the point in laughing? I mean, if you can't laugh at something,
exactly.
because I've done some stupid shit, and I will be the first to tell you it was stupid,
Yep,
especially as a kid.
I'd be the second to tell you I was there.
Yeah, yeah, guilty as charged. But that was just Friday, and then it was a great experience, and I was already having fun. I was already rolling at that point. Like I was like, all right, I got all this stuff to do, and then Saturday hit. Okay, not only Saturday hit, Saturday morning, Bert Kreischer's movie, The Machine came on, so I watched that. So I got a little bit more Bert going. Great movie, by the way.
That was good.
I wouldn't say was it the greatest comedy movie I've ever seen? No, because it was a story that he told that he turned into a movie, and he did it perfectly, in my opinion. Like that
I was
movie
gonna say,
portrayed his machine story to a T.
if you've heard anything about that story, he does a really good job of almost not quite retelling the story, but in a sense, kind of retelling it, but also creating a whole new story, like a movie story around it. And it's
A
really
build
well
up
done,
and
but
a
it's
tear off.
100% Burt Kreischer. So if you and it's number one on Netflix right now. So like recognize that like if you like Burt Kreischer, you're gonna like this movie. If you don't like Burt Kreischer, don't bother because it is totally a Burt Kreischer style of comedy movie. But man, I thought it was good. I
And
definitely
check
thought it was
this out.
good.
Like the
It fits
movie,
right into it.
right? The movie is called The Machine because that's what he got known for. That's really what put him on the map of people knowing who he was, is because of a story he told however many years ago on the Joe Rogan podcast. That's what got him where he is, and that's why he got a movie. But I will say this: at the show, when he came out of he was done with like the storytelling. Everybody's always anticipating when he's going to tell the machine. He tells the machine at every show. I've never heard a crowd go more nuts because I've heard the story 100 times, just like anybody else that's a Burt Kreischer fan. But the crowd went freaking nuts when he started off with, when I was 23 years old, I went to Russia with a foreign language class out of Florida State. The crowd went. It was like if uh, Conor McGregor had shown up to the UFC to bout like the greatest other, like, I don't know, Khabib. Like, it was that loud. It was crazy.
It
And if you're a
it
fan,
doesn't matter though that you've heard the story 100 times. It's his story, and
you
it's
want
a
to hear
good
it.
story. Like you're like, it's the hype of hearing it live. Like,
Okay, here's
I'm
the
not
comparison.
even.
Here's the
I wouldn't
comparison.
even call myself a Burt Kreischer fan, and if I were live listening to it, I would go nuts. Like when he starts the story.
Here's the comparison. Burt Kreischer's machine story is Ron White's tater salad story. That's all it is to it. And when he starts it up, however
They call
loud people
me
got with
tater
Ron White,
salad.
they get just as loud because just like Donald Trump, even Burt Kreischer has a fan base just like Donald Trump does. And if you're at a Trump rally, it's the equivalent of the amount of noise that I heard, and I was in front of like 90% of them, and they said they sold out with 10,000 plus, so it was nuts.
Dang.
But Saturday, after I got done watching the machine, I was able to go to the HCW's Air Capital Brawl. Okay?
Guys, Heartland Championship Wrestling is killing it, y'all. They had their first show, the Air Capital of the World, Wichita, Kansas. They had the Air Capital Brawl, is what it was called. And man, it was a great show. It was a massive crowd. We're talking standing room only. Incredible show. And let me tell you, HCW is already back at it. They've already got the next show booked, and it is going to be October 21st. That's right, just a couple of weeks away at the Osage Rec Center. So the same building, y'all. We're just a couple of weeks out, man. Billy and the ownership of HCW have already got a great card going for an event called Wake the Dead. Oh man, it's already got a good lineup. Man, I see great faces, but we don't have a list of the roster yet, so we will be revealing that very soon. But general admission, like we said, is $12 a person. Premium admission is $15. If you want to get that extra special experience, that VIP is $35. That gets you in early, gets you the best seats in the house, gets you access to the early gear, early snacks, everything you're looking for. Doors open at 5 p.m. and the bell rings at 6, y'all. Bell rings at 6. Don't miss it. Wake the Dead, October 21st. It's going to be an amazing show.
Okay. And for those that don't know, I don't think I've said it on here, have I? That BJ asked me to be a ring announcer for them.
I don't think so, no.
So, and that was only because I wasn't 100% sure. He just brought it up one day. We never said anything about it. And then a week and a half before, I brought it back up again just to make sure that I knew what I was preparing myself for mentally. He said, yes, 100%. So I said, all right, sweet. Me, like, I'm not a guy that goes to wrestling shows regularly, right? And neither are you, because you go to show support for Billy. And that's why I would go.
Sure.
When I went to this show, like, when he asked me to do it, I was not mentally prepared for like what I was going to expect, because I'm used to those small shows, those 40 people, or when we went to Amarillo, there might have been 200 people there, right? When we were in Amarillo,
Maybe.
like when we were doing I don't know the exact number, but it wasn't the same atmosphere is what I got Saturday. Like, that was a total different beast, and you felt it. Like, you felt like the fans reacting to everything that was going on, whether it be me talking, the music, the person who was coming out, everything. Like, it was like if you were going to a smaller version of a more romantic version of WWE. That's what it felt like for me. And again, that goes to show you the type of base that Billy has built. And that for me was pretty bizarre because I wasn't expecting it. But also, I didn't know I've never done that before, been a ring announcer. So Billy didn't have anything prepared. I didn't know what the heck he wanted me to do.
Oh,
No,
goodness.
we did this 1 hour before the show.
So he didn't have you like collect height, weight, location, all that stuff from all the wrestlers?
Okay, I gave out specific, I guess, in like, I my main job up there, like the way that he was saying it was to, when I heard the music, tell them what kind of match it was going to be, and then the first person coming out, I gave them the first person coming out, and then after they made it to the ring and he cut their music, I was to stop, and I didn't. After I said their name, I didn't say anything anyways. Then when the next person's music cued, I said their name. I didn't go into any detail because we didn't have that kind of time. Like he said I mean, there was so much stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
So 2 people did give me a specific way that they wanted to be called out, and that was Stormy Renee and then Ray Leone. He gave me, they both gave me 2 things and I read it. I don't think I messed up names. Now, it was so hot in there. Okay, it was obliterating hot. Like my face was dripping sweat. And then here, I got a pickle to pick with Billy, okay? He wants me to shoot a promo. I did not have my beard stuff ready, right? I did not get to brush my beard down. This was after the VIP match. Like they had one VIP match. So I was already sweating, and then I go back to the back to make sure that I have all my notes. So I have ripped up pieces of paper, different pieces of paper, all like this, right? And I'm keeping them in order so I can stay organized. And I hate not being organized, okay? So I'm keeping it organized, knowing, and I read these cards or these notes like probably 300 times as I'm doing it. Like I wasn't even paying attention to all the matches just because I was reading through. I was like, I can't mess this up. Anyway, but he asked me to take a promo picture. I was like, oh, really? And I was like, I was drenched in sweat. I had it right before the match, the day before. I sent you a picture of it. I got a 99-cent blazer jacket.
It was
from Goodwill.
Great. I'm imagining it did not go well with all that heat.
That wasn't really what was the heat problem. It was the amount of people in that small of an area. It wasn't even that hot in there. That's what was crazy. Right. It was that many people.
Right.
So
but
like
that
the
blazer
heat on my body
didn't make things better.
Not at all.
And you're a walking Sasquatch anyways with all your body hair.
Yeah. So I dressed up for this, and I mean, I asked him what attire he preferred that I wear because I didn't have anything that was like fancy and bow tie and Bruce Buffer. So I just said, "What would you like me to wear?" He goes, "Try to dress up." I said, "Okay." So I went to Goodwill, got a 99-cent blazer, and the second one that I picked up is the one that fit, so I took it. And then I wore a black shirt underneath with some nice pants and some nice shoes. Okay. I don't know if I messed up names. Like nobody said anything. They all said that I sounded fine. I don't know. I've never done it before. Would I do it again? Yeah, sure. If he wanted me to do it, but like I said, I hate being unorganized, if that makes any sense. I want to know what I need to plan for. And I've never been in that type of crowd, so I didn't really know how to, I guess, maybe speed up time for him. Like when the rope broke, I didn't know like what would they want to hear, like because I didn't have time to really talk that over with BJ. So we did a 50-50 raffle, and I've just never done it before. So now that I know what to expect in that situation, like I can prepare myself mentally for like what I can do. I can make fun of certain wrestlers, or I can, and not necessarily make fun of. I can like kind of bring up their flaws, kind of like Red James, or get the crowd
you
going.
can absolutely poke the bear a little bit.
Right.
Yeah,
and I've never done that before, so I didn't know like. Because ring announcers like Bruce Buffer, like when you think of a ring announcer, they don't really do that like in other events. They're not the MC. In wrestling, you're more of an MC than just a ring announcer. That's really what you are. So if you're ever looking at doing that, I highly suggest practicing to be an MC, not to be a ring announcer. That's just part of the job. I think the biggest part of the job is to keep the crowd going and
MC.
get them riled up.
For sure.
So now that I know that, I think that kind of helps, and I kind of know what to expect from. And I was being told different stuff. Like a bunch of people were like, "Hey, go and make this announcement." And then when I would do it, I would get somebody to pop their head out of where they were walking out. They're like, "Hey, not yet." I was like, "What?" I was just told. Like there was just too many people telling me, but other than that, it was fine. Now, what did your parents think?
They loved it, man. They said it was such an incredible show. They were blown away by the support, the number of people that came out to see it. They loved it. They said it was a little warm, but they said nobody complained about it, and that it was just because it was so amazingly packed. There's nothing they could do about it, which is so cool. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, and like the reaction to Billy's face when Daniel came in to tell him that they've sold out of tickets. Okay, they sold. He said they sold over 200 before the thing even opened, right?
That's amazing.
And then when he let in the VIPs, the waiting room or the lobby outside the gym was packed. Like you couldn't get in. Like
that's
and
awesome.
Billy was like, "What?" And so like it was a good, I guess, stress look. Like he was excited, but he was also kind of like, "All right, we got to get some more chairs out." So he got some more chairs, put some out. They even had the bleachers packed that they had. They have little sections of bleachers on the walls. It was a great show. Like like I said, I didn't expect how big it was. Like there was, like we said, 260 plus people or 360 plus people.
Oh yeah.
It definitely felt like more. It felt like there was 500 or more. Like that's how loud people were. So I did have a blast. It was a fun experience. Now, if he never wanted me to do it again, I would not blame him because I had. What was that? Oh,
that
they're
must
ready to
mean
go.
my parents are here. No, that means my parents are here.
Uh-oh.
Yep, my parents are here.
His parents are here. So
That
Sabrina
means the
could be on here
dogs are
right now and
going
just tell
nuts.
us what she thought of the show if she
You
really wanted
could.
to.
Mom, would you like to give some fresh commentary on your thoughts on the show? We're currently on the podcast. My dogs are going nuts. Ripping my power cords out and whatnot. It's out of control.
You don't want none of that. But no,
They're out
if
of
you
control.
have never been to a show, it was a blast. My part was, I don't know if I was any good or if I was any bad. I didn't want to ask anybody because I really didn't.
How'd Bobby do, Mom? She thought you did great. But she thought you were hot cooked. Thought you were
I wonder how she could tell. Ask her how she could tell.
How could you tell, Mom? How could you tell? The flop sweat and the red face? Flop sweat and red face, she said.
So my experience was different probably for some. Like, one, not only was it warm in there, but two, like we didn't know what we were doing up into at least an hour outside of the show. So I didn't know what I was going to say. Didn't know who I was introducing until he gave me the rundown, and then he said just add in whatever kind of flavor I wanted to. I was like, oh no.
Add in flavor?
Yeah.
You're
I was like, what?
Bro, I ain't never cooked in a kitchen before. What? Did you all see that? The dog just literally bounded in front of me.
Oh, I saw that.
These mutts, man. These dogs. And we're back.
But my kitchen was not that definitely. I didn't know where any of the plates were. I didn't know where any of the cups were, and I certainly had no idea where the flavorings were. So my timing.
You're like, I ain't never stepped foot in this kitchen. How the heck you gonna ask me to add my flavor?
Yeah, I ain't no Guy Fieri or anything like that. Like I mean,
welcome to Flavor Town.
It was definitely an experience that, like, I mean, I was excited to have it, and I would do it again if Billy really wanted me to, and I would just be mentally and physically more prepared for it instead of with all these different pieces of paper that I didn't want to lose, because if I lost one or if it got out of order, I was going to have like a panic attack. But
Well,
yeah,
I don't
other
know for
than
a
that,
second he'd ask you to do it again.
I mean, I don't want to ever like take it away from somebody who definitely obviously has done it before, and also if he has a better one, by all means, give him a shot.
That's funny.
But 360 plus people in one room for wrestling, of all things. Like
That's a cool show.
It definitely felt like they were there for a show, and the main event was crazy. Our main event that we
good.
announced was bizarre. There were so many tables broken, so many chairs used.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Do you want me? You want me to give it the rundown?
What was the final result? What was the final result, Bobby?
You know what the final result was.
What was the
Remington
final
Roar was going
result,
to destroy
Bobby?
him. Remington Roar won. But check this out.
Roar. Let's go, baby. The
we did something
otherworldly warrior. He's a freaking nature, man. He is supernatural in the way he fights. Oh,
we did something totally different that BJ said he's never done. We let the wrestlers come out to their music. I didn't say anything until they got in the ring. So when they got in the ring, we did it Bruce Buffer-like. So,
ooh, I like that.
I said,
I like that.
This is the main event of the evening. And then I introduced, we all know who, and I introduced him as the hardest
prodigy,
the hardest hitting heavyweight this state has ever seen, the prodigy Aaron Helms. Granted, I got really into it. I got into it as much as I could. And then I turned to my left and I said, and his opponent making his way all the way back from Tokyo.
There you go. There you go.
Do you know his nickname?
It's oh gosh, like his actual moniker?
Yeah.
It's I knew
Remington
it at one
Roar,
point.
But like
it's
Remington Roar, but
Aaron Helms. He has a moniker that goes with Remington Roar.
I have a new one for him if I ever have to introduce him again.
Remind me again. As soon as you say it, it's
the Carnivore.
The Carnivore. Remington Roar.
Remington. That's right. And the crowd went nuts when I said his name.
Yeah. He is a fan favorite for a reason, dude. He puts on such a great show. He is
his
full
back
tilt.
Was like hamburger, bro. From all the nails he's taken in the back.
He's full tilt, dude. He's full tilt all the time.
There we go. But like that was, I mean, the crowd went nuts for that, but they got DQ'd. They were both outside the ring more than 10 times. So Billy stepped out. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. If the crowd wants to see them go, I'm going to let them go. No DQs. Everything is on the table. Anything goes. He renamed the match from it was winner by pinfall. Now this is winner anything goes.
Ooh.
So this is pretty much imagine Hell in a Cell outside of the cell.
Dude.
So like they were bringing out tables one by one.
Good old fashioned like destruction match. Love it.
And that's what it was. And it ended with Mr. Aaron Helms going through a table.
Ooh.
Winner by pinfall. Ding, ding, ding.
I would like to clarify. Aaron Helms has put on heck of a show after heck of a show. And that man has won many, many titles. But I'm not surprised that this match ended with Remington Roar putting him through a table. That man is a beast. He's an otherworldly warrior. And you're right. I knew what was going to happen. And I'd like to say I've now called it. Is it 3 for 3?
3 for 3.
3 for 3, baby. Let's go.
I don't know if you called back when we had XWE as a sponsor. I don't know if you called any of their matches that we had.
I can't remember, but I think since
I think we only called one of theirs.
I have called all of their match winners.
HCW have only had 2. This is only their second event.
Oh, then why am I saying 3 then?
So that must be XWE.
Must have been when we had XWE as a sponsor.
Because we had one is.
I'm on a streak. I'm just going to leave it at that.
And now 2 for.
I'm on a streak.
And now 2 for them.
But I haven't made any sports. How am I doing on that front? Because this was a wild week when it comes to sports.
I think you and Daniel tied, and then the only thing that broke was you were too high of a Monday night total score.
Too high of a hey. I was gambling. I was way off. I was
that Bengals Rams game. That Bengals Rams game. I thought
for sure something would
happen. Was such
a
field goal game.
No,
not at the end, but throughout the entire game up into the fourth quarter, it was field goal after field goal. It was 9-6 for 3 quarters of the game.
Yep, ugly football. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to watch it.
But not only did my weekend end with, that being the perk of it was the HCW show. The Dallas Cowboys had probably the worst loss out of the whole week. Probably the second.
Oh.
There was a lot of stuff going on with the Cowboys. The offensive line 3 of the offensive linemen were out. We lost a corner for good to a ACL injury. So, I
Bro,
mean,
Trayvon.
it was a great weekend.
Oh,
It was a great
my
weekend up
heart.
until then.
My heart for you, buddy.
I don't know if Dallas had the worst loss or if Atlanta had a pretty bad loss. Well, not for them, because they played a good team. Either Dallas or Colorado. Colorado, the college football game, that was blowout. Did you watch
No.
that?
Dude,
Oh,
how are
oof.
you not saying Denver?
Okay. I'm going to say this. Denver
bro.
was a bad game. I'm saying they weren't expected to win. Dallas was expected to win. They got upset by a team that was terrible.
Denver couldn't stop Miami's backups from scoring.
Right.
Mike White
No, they could not.
scored more touchdowns than like half of the NFL quarterbacks, and he played 2 snaps. He threw 2
How many
passes.
records did they break? How many records did they break?
They definitely set a franchise record.
They tied the all-time score
points
record
that have been scored since 1966.
Yeah, they tied.
Like,
they tied.
It was an embarrassing loss. No, Denver was not
terrible.
supposed to lose like that.
No, they weren't supposed to lose like that, but they also weren't supposed to win. But what I'm saying is for upset-wise, Dallas had the biggest upset.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
Granted, they had the worst. Denver had the worst ass beating. I'll say that. Like that was terrible.
The Indy-Baltimore game turned out pretty fun. That went into overtime.
That was a good game, though. That was a good game. It was an upset, but it was a good game. The Dallas game was not good.
The Dallas game was just
interception.
We were all thinking to ourselves, it's not December yet. What's going on?
Oh, it was. I mean, it was a mixture of things. I don't think our defense is to blame. They were on the field way too much, just like the Chiefs in week 1.
That's rough.
They were on the field way too much. Now, Dak only threw 1 interception, and that's his first interception for the year, so I would give him credit for that. But the offensive, like the whole playbook was just not on. Nobody was on the same page, so it was just terrible to watch. I shut it off after the interception, of course, but
I think it made a lot of Cowboys fans frustrated.
And the Chiefs, they won with pretty good fashion. I mean, even with the number 1 musician in the stands, they still won with a ton of flair. But I will say this:
got a real love story going on.
I'm going to agree with the meme out there. I think my favorite Kelsey Swift duo is still the Eagles. I mean,
that's
just saying.
Great. Well, I did find out that I was at staff meeting yesterday, and I found out I declared myself as Swiftie adjacent because I have a daughter who's a Swiftie. I have nieces who are Swifties. I've listened to most of her stuff. But as I sit there discussing, now I will admit, all of the people that I work with are significantly older, like almost retired age. And so they're not exactly up on pop culture. But as I'm describing Taylor Swift and some of the stuff she's done and everything she does, I'm like, I know way too much about this girl. I think I honestly have to call myself a Swiftie. Like, I'm not sure I can say that I'm Swiftie adjacent. I very well might be a Swiftie.
I can name for sure 1 song, and this was like her number 1 song that she ever came out with. But other than that, I can only think of 1, and that's the.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't listen to her music.
See, that's the thing. Like, you may not intentionally listen to it, but you've heard it. I guarantee it. And I bet you'd know the tune to at least 6 of them. That's the thing. She's written so many.
The one that I'm going into is Bad Blood. That's the only one that I could say that I liked out of like for her new stuff. Now her old stuff, like the Tim McGraw one, what was that called? Was it called Tim McGraw?
Yeah.
Think of Me or something?
Yeah.
That song obviously is the first one that comes to mind, and then Bad Blood because of. I mean, it's a pretty good song.
But that's kind of my point. Is this woman has several albums of insanely successful things, and I was explaining what she's done Do you know much about what she's done to get her rights back to her music?
I didn't know that she didn't have the rights.
Well, so yeah, music's a really weird industry. The way it works essentially is an artist records their music, but they don't necessarily own the rights to their music. They sell it
Right.
to a recording company. So, usually a recording company, but sometimes individuals can own master rights to artist collections, right? When artists get big enough, like Taylor, they usually make an attempt to buy their own rights back, to have control over their music. So in Taylor's situation, hers were just producing so much income that they would not sell them back. So her solution she went in and re-recorded all of her music. That's why she's re-releasing all of them with a Taylor's version tag. And it's because she will now own the master rights to those songs. So if anybody listens to the old versions of the songs, the people who own those rights still get credit. But all of the fan base, because they're loyal to Taylor, is transitioning and moving to the Taylor's version songs so that she gets full access to the funds and full access to the rights to her music. So
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I have seen Elvis, and that's kind of like, I mean, he didn't have like right issues. He had like money issues. So like to get out of the deal, he would have to pay all this money out. So he was screwed.
yeah,
That's what I did.
there's all sorts of manipulative practices that are used to control people and that stuff. So
I mean, I think that's how Tupac was. Like that's what with him in Death Row, wasn't he trying to get out of that deal to where he had his own music?
Very much so. Very much so.
We're going to be right back.
Okay.
We can't get a hold of Betty. We're just going to check on her and come back.
Yeah, go check on her. Okay.
Be right back.
So anyway, speaking of sports, let's go ahead and make week 4's weekly picks. You ready for that?
Yes, I'm so ready.
All right, Thursday night football, Lions versus Packers.
Man, I'll tell you what. 1, this is a rivalry. 2, the Lions still look good, but Packers are kind of surprising me. I think this will be one of the better Thursday night games, and I think it's the Lions that take it.
Josh is going with the Lions. I don't think Jordan Love is the franchise of the Green Bay Packers. I just don't. And I really want the Lions to win this, and I think that they will. But I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a very even keel, like head-for-head, offense, defense. So I think it'll be at least a 3-point game, maybe even overtime.
Possible. I think when everything's said and done, the Lions' defense will be a little bit more effective. I expect
Especially
Aiden
if they show up
Hutchinson
like
to
they
have
did
a
against
pretty
the
good
Chiefs.
game.
Oh, yeah. All right, Sunday. Falcons at Jags.
Ooh, Falcons at Jags. Here's the thing. Jags are looking good. I can't question them. I got to roll with the Jags.
All right. After the Falcons losing to the Lions, it doesn't surprise me because the Lions are not a team to joke around with, especially beating Chiefs week 1. So I'm going to agree with you, though. I think the Jags take this win. Rams versus the Colts.
Rams, Colts. See, okay, here's my thing. With what the Colts did this week against, who was it?
I think they
Who was it? They
played.
were just Baltimore. Baltimore.
Yeah,
Baltimore's a good team. So, like, I don't know, man. I actually think Indy on this one.
If that team shows up, I think that they definitely.
If that team shows up, I'm actually going to call this an upset this week. I think Indy over the Rams, but I don't even know if that's an upset. I don't know, man.
With how the Rams played, I mean, who has the better record? I mean, that's how you can decide who the upset is because the Colts,
But
I think,
are the Rams as good as their record says they are? Or wait, what is their record?
I think they are also. I think they are 2-1, and the Colts are 1-2.
Right. So on paper, the Rams look better, but I don't think they're better.
Right. So by stats, yes, it would be an upset. By caliber of team, I don't think it will because I think the Colts have a better. I don't know. I think that they're better. I think they're more balanced than the Rams.
You get it. You get it. So,
So we're
I
both
mean-
going with the Colts.
yeah, here's the thing. The Bengals just barely inked by the Rams, and the Bengals are a hot mess right now. So I'm not confident that the Rams have it together for their 2-1 record.
All right, so let's move on to, well, Dolphins versus the Bills.
Oh, this one will be good.
Do you think it's going to be that good?
I do.
I don't
It's a
think
rivalry game, man.
It is a rivalry game, but I don't think it's going to be as good as, I don't know. Like, what was the closest game
You're
this week?
underselling Buffalo, aren't you? You don't buy into the
I am.
Buffalo hype.
I don't have faith. I don't have faith in them now.
Here's the thing. Josh Allen has something to prove against Miami, and they are going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. Miami, for the first time, is the team to beat in that division. And I think Buffalo wants to prove that they're still competitors. And I think if they can't, I think there's a very real chance that there becomes some doubt in Josh Allen's leadership.
So who you taking?
I am taking the Dolphins.
Took the Dolphins.
I'm taking the Dolphins.
All right. This one,
But
I think
this is a must-win for the Bills, but I don't think they'll win it.
I don't think they will either. It could be a close game. It could come down to the field goal, but I don't think it will. I think it'll be 10 points or more.
Ooh, I don't think it'll be that significant, but I'm thinking maybe 7 to 8.
If the team
I think they'll win by a score.
Granted, they're not playing the Denver Broncos this week. No, they're
Dude,
not.
If
they're
the
not.
team that showed up to play Denver, that they will rack up points on Buffalo if that team shows up.
Offensively, the Dolphins looked like they were the New England Patriots. And what year was that they broke the record for passing touchdowns?
Was Waddle out at the beginning of the game,
Waddle
or did
was
he
out.
get out? Ooh,
He was out. He was out from the very. Imagine.
Ugh,
That'd have been another at least 2+ touchdowns.
I don't want to imagine. That's terrifying.
That's 84. Was it 80? No, 82.
Dangerous
to 50,
offense.
Or 20.
It's a dangerous offense.
Here's a legitimate close game. Bucks versus the Saints.
Ooh, Bucks.
This will be a good game.
Bucks. Baker Mayfield has found a home, and he is hot.
Both teams.
Yes, indeed.
Both teams are hot. I think they're equally as good as the other.
Oh, I don't know about that. I definitely think that. Okay, I definitely think that the Saints are better than their record. I don't think
They've only lost one.
Quite. Yeah, but
they're 2-1. So are the Bucks.
Yeah,
The
I
Bucks
still
lost
don't
last
think.
night.
I think the Bucks are a better 2-1 than the Saints are.
So you're taking Bucks.
Yep.
Okay. This is going to be the worst game of the week. What do you think I'm going to say?
Browns, Texans.
Browns are
Texans,
a good team.
The Texans, because the Texans Denver game.
That's
or
not
no,
who
Bears.
plays.
Bears, Chicago. Bears in Denver.
Broncos,
that one.
Bears.
Because the Broncos
versus the
just lost.
I don't even know if you can pick a team.
Miami, and the Bears just got murdered by us. That was great. So yeah, this is going to be rough. Bears.
I say we flip a coin.
No, I say Bears.
Bears.
I say Justin Fields will have enough spunk in him to come out and fight on this.
Question is he going to play? That's the question.
That's a fair question, because if he doesn't, then I would change my answer.
Commanders at the Eagles.
Is the enemy's Commanders as good as they portray themselves to be?
They've only lost one game.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, offensively, I think that they're clicking. Or defensively, I think they're one of the top run stopping defenses for sure. Now, passing, what the Eagles are known for, I don't think that they're going to stop that pass, and that's why I went with the Eagles. But I think the Commanders have a shot at beating them because it's a rival game for sure. But who knows? The Eagles have been hot. I mean, this past week they had a great game against who was that? The Bengals? No, who was that? Eagles at the Buccaneers. So
Eagles
I mean,
Eagles are 3-0, and
there's
the
only
Bills
two undefeated
the
NFC teams and one
the Bills
undefeated AFC team.
the Bills definitely did just destroy Washington this week. So I'm gonna probably also go with the Eagles. But I think
Right.
Washington will actually put up a pretty good fight.
Yeah, mainly because it is a rival game, and
Yep.
they're fighting for
Always
a division.
gotta watch those division rival games.
This, I think, could
Always
be
watch
another
it.
good game. Ravens at the Browns.
Ooh, that's a rivalry game too.
There's a lot of rivalry games this week.
I could see. Yeah, it sounds like it's a division week for several of them. I'm gonna say Baltimore on this only because I think the Browns have talent. I don't think they're organized. Nick Chubb going down is a huge disaster for them. And I think Baltimore will want to bounce back from that loss to Indy. Because that was a hard loss. And I think a lot of people would challenge whether they actually lost that.
I too took the Ravens with that one. I don't think that
There was a controversial
I don't think the
call
team
in
that
that game.
played the Colts was the team that we're going to see, especially in the postseason. I think that they're going to be a team that I think they're definitely going to win their division. Like I don't see any team coming close.
They played bad in that game.
No, it was just a good game.
Yeah.
Colts just had a better game than the Ravens. Bengals at the Titans.
Bengals, Titans, man. You know what? Just because I trust their consistency more right now, I'm going the Titans.
All right. I too chose the Titans because I wasn't sure if the Bengals were going to play Burrows, and they ended up playing him. And I mean, did it benefit them? It ended up benefiting them in the end last night. So I think that
he's not healthy though, and until he's healthy,
no, he's definitely not healthy. But I don't see a healthy Titans team beating an unhealthy or even injured Joe Burrow.
Really?
I don't.
So you got
I'm sorry. I got Cincy. I got Cincy winning that one. I'm sorry.
Okay. Weird. Interesting to me. Because I think a healthy Titans can absolutely beat an unhealthy Bengals.
Well, but the Titans are also unorganized, and that's the problem. That's the only thing
I don't think so right now. I think outside of maybe the receiving core, and with the receiving core, you just got to get DeAndre Hopkins on the same page. But he may have, actually. I think he's already doing pretty good. What's the Titans' record? Aren't they 2-1?
I thought that they were 1-2. They
Maybe
lost week 1. They lost week 1.
They did. Yep.
Then they won week 2 and then lost last week, didn't they? Or this week?
Lost to the.
They lost to
the Browns. Lost to the Browns.
Yeah. Yep. Week 1 they lost. Week 3 they lost. So they were both 1 and.
But their loss to the
2.
Saints was a 1-point loss. So.
Yeah.
And they did beat the Chargers. So.
They did. All right, this one could be kind of a toss-up. I mean, Steelers at the Texans is it's not a rival game, but I think you have two young teams going against each other in this one, and it could get messy.
I think you've got young quarterbacks that are looking to showcase themselves. I would like to see C.J. Stroud pop in this game. I think he's starting to catch his form. I think he's starting to look as good as I thought he did. So remember, C.J. Stroud was the guy I was talking about before the draft. And then Richardson's been looking like a boss with Indy, and I've been eating crow forever. And now C.J. Stroud's starting to hit a little form.
Yep. So you going Texans? I went Steelers.
I'm going Texans. I'll go Texans for this one.
All right. And here's
another rival game.
I'm not eating
crow anymore on this one.
Raiders at the Chargers.
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you this. I think the Raiders are surprising a lot of the AFC, like with how well they're holding up. Like they are they're the Arizona Cardinals of the AFC. Like, well, maybe not right now, maybe the Jets. But The Raiders, I think they get. I don't think they are getting enough credit for what they're capable of, and I think they're very capable of winning this game. Like not easily, but they're very capable of winning this game specifically. But the Chargers just aren't clicking like they were last year.
Here's the thing. Good old Justin Sherbert will be just fine,
Sherbert.
and he will absolutely handle the Raiders. I'm not worried about it, especially after some of the close games that they've had to deal with. They had that loss to the
I mean, week 1,
3-point
they hit the Dolphins.
3-point loss to the Titans in week 2. I mean, they're a good team. They did lose Mike Williams, and they do have Akers out now. They traded Akers, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
They traded him
Akers
to Atlanta, didn't they?
Yep.
He went to Atlanta.
So, I mean, they've been making some moves, but truly they're a good team. So I expect the Chargers to win that one.
All right, I picked the Raiders. Vikings at the Panthers.
Oof. Vikings.
Young quarterback versus senior quarterback.
Give me Kirk.
Vikings are. You want Kirk, huh?
Yep.
I too took Kirk, but Pats at the Cowboys. Hopefully, I'm going to go Cowboys 100% of the time, but like if the Cowboys' offensive line, that's where they're going to struggle. If they don't have Zach Martin, if they don't have their tackle, like they're going to struggle because the defense. I mean, the Pats' defense played great yesterday or Sunday. Like, they held their own. So that's the downfall with football is like injuries mess up a lot of if you want to call them scripts, if you will.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So who you got? Pats
change
or
the
Cowboys?
plays up. Cowboys. Arizona was a fluke, dude. You guys are a solid ball club. You've got nothing to be afraid of. It was a fluke. They had your number. They had a way around you. It happens to everybody. You guys are a solid team. You're going to be in the playoffs. Like, this is a year of the Cowboys for sure. Now, is it y'all's year to win the Super Bowl? I don't know, because I don't know that we're done with our dynasty yet. But,
we'll see.
We'll gladly share the field with you.
Cardinals at the 49ers. I think this is going to be a Bears-Chiefs type game.
Yes. Niners will do work on the Cardinals. I don't expect this to be close, and I don't expect Arizona to pull anything out of their butt on this one. It is absolutely...
If they upset the 49ers, this will be the biggest upset of the week.
Arizona will all of a sudden start being in the talks of who are they and what's their skill set if they can pull an upset again.
This goes all the way back to Mr. Irrelevant. Like, Brock Purdy is the way, and they know it.
He hasn't lost a
Chiefs
step.
at the Jets. He has not lost a step. He hasn't lost a regular season game in his entire career.
He's a beast. Gosh,
Chiefs
and Jets. I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, they're just such a stellar team, and they're not at all dealing with what feels like a curse.
Losing Jets.
It's really going to depend. Right. If Patrick gets enough time in like a darkness retreat, I think the Chiefs can pull this one off. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Maybe by 10.
That if the Chiefs lost
15
this past week, let's just say if the Chiefs lost, do you think they would blame that on Taylor?
No. They might have said, well, there might have been some distraction, but no, Patrick's really good at like being humble and like taking the blame and passing the victory.
You mean Travis or
no? I mean Patrick because he would have been the one to interview. He's the leader.
Well, Monday Night Football, Seahawks versus the Giants.
Seahawks.
I'm gonna go Giants on this one.
Yeah, you think Daniel Jones has got it?
I think Daniel Jones has had it. I mean, he just doesn't have enough. Like, his offensive line hasn't been doing as much as they can for him. And the defense, I mean, week 1, that defense just, I mean, Dallas's offense was nothing to, like, really, like, give them a trophy for. But the Giants, They weren't nowhere. Like nobody went to practice. Like that was almost watching a preseason game. Like that shouldn't have never happened. That was a fluke for the NFL. Like nobody loses like that, especially week 1 to a rival team, 40-0.
Right.
Come on, get out of here. That could go either. Giants will probably bounce back for sure, and then take the win against the Cowboys. It's just how we do things. But who knows? Giants take this over the Seahawks, and I think it'll be 6 points.
I don't know
But
if
my
this
total
is,
score. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if this has always been the case, but it does feel like for a long time, New York has always had a slow start to their season.
Just like the Bengals.
Doesn't it? Like, I think maybe back to the Michael.
Strahan?
Oh, come on. Yeah, Michael Strahan days. Is the last time I can remember the Giants actually getting a fast start to their season. It always feels like the first couple of games they end up losing.
Well, Eli Manning also had a lot to do with their fast starts too. Like they didn't always normally lose like 4 games in a row or 2 games.
But even
back to
under
back.
Eli, it felt like they would slow start. Like I don't remember.
I would say towards the end of his career, for sure, they had a slow start.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning,
Well,
he
and
had
then everything since then. You know, we
Huh?
used to. I remember all the smack we used to talk on Eli, but he will forever be exonerated in the NFL world
undefeated against Tom
because
Brady.
exactly, baby, he is Tom Brady's kryptonite, and he will forever be celebrated for that reason. He is the kryptonite to the GOAT.
I mean, right now you could say the NFC East
It
because he
is.
lost to the Eagles and the Giants.
It's true.
So, what's your total score for Monday Night Football, Joshua?
Total for Monday night. This is, remind me who's playing in this game.
Giants and Seahawks.
Giants, Seahawks, okay. Giants are going to come out. They'll put up a little bit more offense. Seahawks are coming. Gino will do fine. We're going to call this one 42.
I actually put down 43.
Did you? Okay.
I did.
I'm going to say 42.
We will see.
Yes.
But that's the NFL this week. So I want your honest opinion. On a scale of 1 to 10, I have my number, and I'm going to write it down just so that no questions can be asked for what it was. The Machine. Okay? For comedy, what did you give this out of 1 out of 10 for what it was? Not for who is in it, not for like what we know it to be, but what it really was.
For comedy, for what it was, I would give it a 7.
7 flat.
I'd give it a 7 flat. I would say, and here, let me give you a spectrum to give you some clarity. A 10 for me is the likes of Tommy Boy, is the likes of oh gosh, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber. These are all classic comedies. I would also then throw in Anchorman. Like, so when I think what classic comedy is, we all grew up, the 3 of us guys, the Chubby Buddies, we for sure grew up watching all of these movies. We can quote so many lines from all of this stuff. So that's the high end. And then bottom end would just be, just trash stuff, stuff that I personally don't find funny. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what that would be.
I don't know. I don't know what you dislike about comedy. I mean, like for me, a comedy movie that was terrible, like for what it, like we're saying, for what it was, I would say something like, I don't know, like, well, if we think of a movie that they made,
I'm trying to think of bad comedy movies that were supposed to be funny that I just didn't laugh that much.
I mean, for me, I don't like.
This is a little harder than I thought it would be.
For me, it was the Princess Bride.
So that's a great example. Princess Bride's a great example for you. Now, I thought that was insanely funny.
But where would you put that in ranks of The Machine? classic
Princess
comedy
Bride's like
because
an
this
8. Princess Bride's like an 8 to me. Yeah, because it's classic comedy. Like it goes right up there with Life of Brian, Holy Grail, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yeah. So like those are all classic styles of comedy, British comedy. I like that stuff too. So that's a little higher end for me. Lower end would probably be more like
I didn't like Tenacious D's movie that they did. I thought that was boring.
That's a great example. Pick of Destiny wasn't
like
very
that.
good to me. I'm not a fan of things that are like super. Here's a good one that I didn't think was very funny. Me, Myself, and Irene had a lot of scenes in it that I didn't think were very funny. It had some funny scenes.
Yeah,
but
like
when
I gave Me,
Jim
Myself,
Carrey
and Irene maybe
movies,
a
that's
5, maybe.
way lower on the list than my other Jim Carreys.
Well, another one for Jim Carrey would be Fun with Dick and Jane. I didn't like that.
Yeah, that one wasn't very good. But then if you want to flip it around, you've got to throw in things like Liar Liar as top comedy. That's a 9. What's another great one of his?
All the Ace Venturas, The Mask.
The Mask. That one's a 9 for me for sure.
The Cable Guy. His worst movie. His worst movie was
The Cable Guy is not his worst movie, but I get what you mean because that's a lower end
for a comedy.
That's a lower end comedy too, but it's because it's a dark comedy. That's the point. It's meant to be like creepy comedy. It's weird. It's in the same vein as like Mike Myers' So I Married an Axe Murderer. It's meant to be like dark and broody comedy.
I Married an Axe Murderer in the early 90s and then did The Cable Guy 15 years later, and that's what's bad.
The Cable Guy wasn't 15 years later. No, sir. That's mid-90s. That's mid-90s.
Which one? The Cable Guy? I would say that came out in 2000.
Guarantee you it was before 2000. Guaranteed.
Cable Guy. Okay, so
if that's not 1995, I'll be...
So 96. So
96.
Married an Axe Murder, 91, 92?
92, I think. Maybe 90.
Axe. It was one of his first movies.
Early Mike
93.
Myers. 93?
93.
Married an Axe Murder is 93? Yeah. I thought that was 90 or even 89. Weird.
Well, he wasn't. I mean, he didn't even get. His first movie was Wayne's World. And that came out in 92.
Wayne's World. There's another classic. Okay, there's a great example. Wayne's World 1, that's a 9. Wayne's World 2, that's like a 4.
Yeah, I mean, my scale for The Machine, I gave it a 7.9.
Okay.
It's for what it was. It was based on an actual event that occurred in somebody's life. Now, whether or not it was true or not, I wasn't there, but it's definitely believable. But for what it was not meant to give you quotable lines like Dumb and Dumber or Tommy Boy or anything like that.
I don't think that's the case. I thought there were a couple of lines in there that could have been quotable.
It could have been quotable, but it's not like it was supposed to portray something that we all lived, like we all got to see in our living room. That's what it was.
Sure.
And for what it was a 7.9. Now, if it was like an Anchorman or a Step Brothers or Tommy Boy, something like that, then I would have given it probably a 9. But like, there's not enough for me. Like a comedy like that needs to have quotables, but it is hands down. There's a reason why it's the #1 watched movie on Netflix for a reason. It's good, funny, and good for what it was.
Look, if you hear that and you hear 7, that's good enough for me. You should absolutely watch it. It's worth it. It's only about a 2-hour movie. It's worth your time. So I wouldn't watch it with kids, but it was still funny. No, it's not a kid movie, but
they had so many good. They had so many good, I guess, cutbacks to things that people say. He had little Easter eggs in it, and for what it was, a solid 7.9.
You can tell it was written by a comedian too, because he has callbacks. He has good callbacks all the way through it. Like, it's well written.
Yeah, and it wasn't. They didn't try to overdo it. They added action to it, and I thought it was good action. It wasn't. They didn't try to blow you out of the water with anything. So I loved it. They didn't water it down either. Like, it was definitely 100% Bert Kreischer. So, and I liked it for what it was. Now, here's one that I think that you would actually like, and you probably were this type of person. So this is another idea of what I find to not be I couldn't really get into it. I loved Seinfeld, and I mean, you can't ever say that like Seinfeld really like laid down the building blocks for what TV shows are today. I wasn't a fan of The Office. You probably were. Like
I
I
do
couldn't
like
get
The
into
Office,
that. Like
yes.
that's not my type of humor. Now, are there funny things in it? Sure. Like, could I go sit down and watch it? No, I could not. Seinfeld,
Oh,
100% I could.
Bobby, I've apparently got to go.
All right. Well, I love you.
Okay, I love it too, man.
Bye.
Bye.